So this is one from this year.
Anthropology professor Lori Baker and her students at Baylor University in Waco, Texas, are examining these bones, trying to find out what they can about the human being they represent and what happened to that person.
This would be indicative of vulture damage.
Baker says there are few clues as to the cause of death.
There are a few traumatic things that we need to look at, but all in all, most of the individuals that we see die of heat exhaustion.
She says unscrupulous smugglers often abandon immigrants in sparsely populated rural areas where there's no water or shelter.
So there are probably a lot more individuals who have died that just haven't been found.
Baker says she thinks of her own family when she hears of families in Mexico or Central America who have spent decades looking for lost loved ones.
And I come from a family that if they were faced with finding me in another country, their resources and abilities would be very limited.
In 2002, after helping human rights groups in several countries to identify bodies from mass graves, she began working on the U.S.-Mexico border with student volunteers like Jennifer Husak, whose hardest moment came when she examined an infant's bones.
It was very difficult for me at first to think about a mother not being able to watch her child grow up. It was very difficult.
Husak, however, says she maintained her focus on finding evidence in the skeletons, such as fracture lines from an injury.
They might be minute, but we'll be able to see them, and so we look for things like that to be able to help narrow down and make an identification.
Lori Baker and her volunteers have worked with more than 170 bodies from the South Texas border region and identified 3. She has requested access to the missing persons database in Mexico, which includes some 400 DNA samples that could be compared to samples obtained from bodies in Texas. Baker says her commitment is to discover the human being who left these bones behind.
And I hope that through the work we do, we'll be able to restore some of the human dignity to that person by giving them a name.
The ultimate goal for Lori Baker is to return identified remains to their families, who, as she puts it, will then at least have a burial place where they can pray and put flowers. Greg Flakus, VOA News, Waco, Texas.